Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. Let's get back into Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. And here we are, finally in Dresden. Let's go ahead and get started into the real meaty part of the game. Mind you, I've never played Demon before, so I don't know how to get those mythic paths started, but I assume something will come up that'll let us know. I want to talk to Anevia, so let's go back to the hub first. A middle-aged paladin with a genial face salutes you. His sparse gray hair stands in fuzzy tufts on his head, giving him a distinctly unwarlike appearance. Everbright Crusaders reporting for duty. My name is Ciar, and I am at your service. Queen Galfrey is gathering the main forces in Neurosian. She ordered us to replenish the losses suffered in Canabras and come here. We will support your troops. A tall, dark-eyed lad is standing behind Ciar. He passionately echoes Ciar's words. We are ready to go to the front line immediately. Allow us to be at the spear of the attack. The old Crusader calls a young man to order. Morveg, don't speak unless spoken to. Don't worry, no one will be defeating any demons without you. Ciar smiles kindly and tosses the boy's hair. Who have you brought with you? Everbright Crusaders mainly, but we have a lot of volunteers who joined us. Those who arrived at the Queen's call but didn't want to sit in Neurosian, waiting for the main army to set off. All the hotheads know that the front is here. Ciar nods at the boy behind him, the one who's eager to fight. We picked up this one too. He walked to Canabras with an old sword in his hand and a few copper coins in his pocket. He was going to keep walking, to kill the demons. And then he would have probably laid siege to Threshold, no doubt. The boy's cheeks go pink at the old man's gentle mockery, but he continues to stare ahead resolutely and boldly. Did you fight in Canabras? How are things there? Not personally, no. The Queen summoned me and the bulk of our order to Neurosian. Almost all those who remained behind in Canabras died, and the ones that didn't were disorganized and leaderless. But the order did not perish. New volunteers have been pouring into our ranks. We are licking our wounds. Canabras is rebuilding. Life wins out. People are coming from all over Avestan to help. Many are joining up with the Crusaders, just as it happened back in the First Crusade. Great. You will be serving under my command. Ciar's mouth flattens into a hard line and he gives you a stern look. You can see the seasoned warrior hiding behind the grandfatherly guise. That is out of the question. We know about your powers and that is why we don't trust you. What's more, I'm convinced you are an enemy of the Crusaders. You will reveal your true nature sooner or later. The Queen ordered us to help you hold the city, and so we will. But she didn't say a word about us personally obeying your orders. The Everbright Crusaders will act independently. Evil. You fool. I will do without you. Or maybe I should execute you to make your knights more amenable. Or, why are you deciding for everyone? Maybe the other knights don't share your fears. That seems kind of salty. We're going to go with the evil option. Ciar responds with a harsh look. You have just proven your unworthiness to command the troops of our order. So, you definitely get this if you're a demon or a lich. However, I didn't get this when I was a trickster, which I found interesting. Okay. Regill, you got anything new to say? Regill stands with his hands behind his back, his favorite pose, it would seem. He seems submerged in thought, but gathers himself immediately as you approach. His pale yellow eyes examine you inquisitively. Knight Commander, it is good you found time to meet me. There's a matter of some urgency I must discuss with you. It was incredibly interesting the power you and your companions received during the fight at the Great Garrison, and now my interest has been gratified. The power your companions received has passed on to me as well. It manifested after my usual evening reckoning. I believe I now represent a true threat to the creatures and initiates of chaos. The imprisoned cultists we kept for certain observations experienced this firsthand. Regill's voice is unemotional, almost bored, but leaves no doubt as to the cultist's fate. Striking, isn't it? Divine intervention at a critical moment is rare, but not beyond imagining. But in this case, part of the power that you received through this intervention has passed to someone who joined you well after the fateful moment had passed. Find some. What if a miracle is just a miracle? I don't believe it's a miracle. I hope that you remember who the source of your power is and that you serve them loyally. I hope you remember who the source of your power is and that you serve them loyally. Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. By the same token, I hope you remember that the Hell Knights are not your toy soldiers. In any case, this is shallow philosophizing. You must have some questions for me. May I ask you a few questions about yourself? Of course. What brought you to Mendev? The demonic threat, of course, and the glaring inefficiency of the local command. I do not know if you are aware of this, but the Hell Knights owe their existence to the Demon Lords to a certain extent. Our first order appeared in response to Sithkesh's cultists and Cheliacs. The chaos they wreaked could not fail to breed strict opposition. Those first knights were able to burn out the pestilence and crush the cult once and for all. I see no reason for the Hell Knights of today not to do the same to the tentacles of Worldwound is spreading. Without question, the task is far more difficult than anything we've encountered before, but it must be done to preserve world order. All the more so given that Queen Galfrey and her commanders are apparently not up to the task. The motives you list sound rather impersonal. Don't you have any other reasons for joining the Crusade? Impersonality is a fine quality for a Hell Knight, and for the rest of the world as well. Personal motives, strong emotions, they are weaknesses that your enemies will use against you. I am an effective officer with years of service. The demonic invasion of Golarion obviously demands the most qualified response. That is why I'm here. It's simple. You were rather skeptical about Queen Galfrey. If my memory doesn't fail me, the current crusade is called the Fifth Crusade, and with all of the support of the Church of Iomedae and multiple other allies provided to Galfrey, no progress has been made in resolving the crisis at the Worldwound. The best they could manage was to create a chain of ward stones, and even they turned out to be inadequate. I suppose that should be reason enough for my skepticism. Forgive me for asking a personal question, but your hair is growing gray and your skin is rather pale. It's the bleaching, right? Of course it's the bleaching. Regill shrugs indifferently. Are you doing anything to fight the bleaching? Luckily, what do other races do to fight old age? Regill allows himself a brief smirk. I know what made you ask this question. My kin have earned a certain reputation for their vain attempts to stave off the inevitable. Luckily for the rest of the world, not all gnomes are prepared to spread chaos with their reckless escapades. There are some among us who accept the natural order of things. The bleaching has no effect on my ability to carry out my duties, and therefore it has no, how should I put it, personal meaning for me. Do you have any family or friends? I've never wondered at the fate of the former and never had an interest in the latter. If you'll allow me one piece of advice, Commander, never put too much stock in so-called friendship or camaraderie. Any bonds based on simple affection are temporary and unreliable. Half of your smiling companions certainly consider you their friend for the present, but they will break and betray you the moment you do anything that troubles their happy expectations. Place greater value on respect based on rational evaluation of your companion's merits. I deeply respected my mentor, who trained me to join the ranks of the Hell Knights. I respected her so much that I killed her with my own hands when I discovered that she betrayed the Order's ideals and was intending to leave our ranks. It would have been more proper to inform the command and wait the formal trial, but on the other hand, that would have injured the morale of our young recruits. They should not see manifestations of weakness in our seasoned fighters. Regill cringes. You have openly shown your distrust of the Crusade, Commander. Why then have you decided to join me? Do not misread my behavior as distrust of you personally. Like every Hell Knight, I watch everyone closely, searching for signs of weakness and sin. Everyone, including myself. Regill speaks the last word pointedly. Indeed, Regill Durenge is first on my list of usual suspects. I observe him daily, marking every fault, every hesitation, every weakness, and I prepare the proper punishment. So it has been and will be. As for your second question, I suppose we may be useful to each other. You and your army are a new power in the Crusade. I rate all the old powers as quite ineffective. I have yet to rate your own efforts, but early indications are positive. That means you may count on my help. For now. You speak of chaotic. You speak of yourself as if you aren't a living being, but a golem or a construct. This is true to an extent. Over many years, I've tried to build myself, much as wizards construct their creations, I suppose, cutting off the needless parts and making the useful ones work properly. These are difficult tasks. Regill permits himself the hint of an approving smile. So thank you for the compliment. That's awesome. Thank you for your answers. Regill nods politely. What can you tell me about the Hell Knights? I can tell you a great deal. However, the Order's recruiters would be a better source of information on such matters. How are new Order members recruited? We accept as armigers any we find worthy, but for the main test, the one that separates the strong from the weak, they must face down a devil summoned directly from hell. If they defeat the beast honestly, the armiger becomes a rightful Hell Knight. If they lose, we simply forget their existence, like the world made an unfortunate mistake. Who do Hell Knights answer to? Only to the heads of their orders. In my case, it's Lictor Resark Ontar, head of the Order of the God Claw. As a rule, the Hell Knights do not submit to the jurisdiction of any state. The same is true of local laws. We are happy to help local governments bring order, if we consider this request lawful and if those who ask are worthy, but we do not serve them and have every right to refuse their demands. So what do you value most? The law, and only the law. If you care so much about the law, how can you ignore the authority of the lawful rulers in the lands where you operate? We cannot call it law just because some foolish local prince thought it up or a council of demented elders deems it wise, now can we? You see, one of the main principles of our brotherhood is that no one is immune from prosecution. A lawful ruler may be a criminal that poses a threat to society. We must be able to punish them as well. That is why Hell Knights only honor the measure and the chain, the doctrine shared by all our orders, and why Hell Knights serve only their officers and the aim of transforming this chaos-torn world and leading it to a brilliant and ordered future. We are the main bastion of order in Golarion, no matter how much some naysayers try to refute it. Thank you. I've learned everything I wanted to know. Expanding one's knowledge is a good deed, provided, of course, that this knowledge is useful. Ask if you have any further questions. Do you have a plan or a strategy for the war against the demons? A spark flashes in Regill's eyes. I have a clear idea of the forces I shall require to wage effective war against the Worldwound. Currently, I do not possess them, but I know what steps I must take. We must amass and fortify, gather scouting information, resolve certain problems of an organizational nature. My people are establishing an outpost not far from the ruins of an ancient shrine. Demons appear there often, so we'll be tracking them for information and honing our skills in combat. This is my strategy for the moment. Thank you for speaking with me. Until next time. All right. Sorry, that actually didn't come up because we took Dresden. I just completely forgot to talk to Regill after we picked him up. Irabeth's eyes are vacant. Her thoughts are clearly somewhere far away. Seeing you, though, she snaps to attention. Hail, Commander. About the scar on your face. Irabeth's hand reaches up to touch her face, then falls away. Her back straightens and determination flares in her eyes. I lost control over myself and put the entire crusade at risk. You had every right to stop me. Irabeth sighs and looks down. Commander, please don't bring up this subject again. I've been punished enough for my disgraceful weakness. We need to talk about what happened during the attack on Dresden. We shouldn't talk about it. It was a moment of weakness, but you brought me to my senses. I swear, it will never happen again. The half-orc salutes you sharply. For a moment, you once again see the Arabeth who is ready to protect and defend his heart to her dying breath. Thank you for still trusting me. More than anyone else does in this crusade, even more than I trust myself. Despite your words, Irabeth obviously still feels unworthy of her commander's rank. Changing her mind will require more than platitudes. Perhaps you could bolster her by appointing her to a position where she could work more closely with rank-and-file soldiers, those whose faith in their commander remains undimmed. So it turns out that the Queen has her head of counterintelligence watching me. I wonder why. These first two we already have looked at before. Irabeth says goodbye with a short bow. Look who it is. Hi. Have you figured out how the demons have been sneaking up on us? Anevia answers with scarcely concealed irritation. No dice. Our scouts crawled all over the area, down every hole, nothing. The Greybor was completely empty, and then, bam! A whole army popped up like a jack-in-the-box. My only lead is a few scouts who didn't come back from the gorges to the southwest. But we found no sign of secret paths or underground passageways, and definitely no route we can use to quietly move a large force through. But I feel it in my gut. There's some evil scum out there. We just have to look harder. Of course, I could send out more scouts, but they might just disappear like the first ones. Why don't you go there yourself and find out what's what? Where do you think that the Scavers have their nest? Anevia shakes her head in annoyance. Not a clue. I've been trying to work it out for days. The vermin have got to be coming from some kind of basement, you think, or an abandoned building, or, Desna forbid, some secret passage that we haven't found yet. We need to nip this in the bud. When those critters start breeding, it won't be pretty. What do you think of my new powers? Anevia frowns and looks you dead in the eye. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'll tell it to you straight. I don't have a clue what to make of all this. My paranoia is telling me to keep you far away from any position of power in case you do something crazy. But my experience tells me that life is a lot more complicated than fanatics like Holron want to believe. So far, nothing you've done has made me doubt your loyalty. Does a tail and a pair of horns outweigh your other deeds? Nuh-uh, I don't think so. At the end of the day, you didn't choose this. The Worldwound spat a whole load of gunk out into Golarion. Maybe some of it latched onto you like what happened with the mongrels. If that's how it went down, then that just gives you one more reason to hate the demons and gives us one more reason to trust you and follow you. Did you find out anything about where Monago is now? Anevia shakes her head sharply. Nope, zero, zilch, whole lot of nothing. The scum melted into thin air. Soldiers saw her jump out the window, run through the square in front of the citadel, and suddenly disappear. We haven't heard anything from her since, and I don't like it. I'm telling you, this is bad. First of all, her kind don't just give up. If we can't see her, it means she's setting a trap for us somewhere we won't expect. I mean, it would be great if the Demon Lords just gobbled her up for all her failures, but I think that's too much to hope for. That's not the worst part. We have a more interesting question, you know? I wonder how she teleported from the city, if by the time you'd already hung that banner. The soldiers are saying it probably wasn't in full force by then, but you and I both know that's dross. She wasn't supposed to be able to teleport, but she did. The question is, how? Tell me about yourself. The girl shrugs with a lazy smile. I'd be happy to, but there's kind of nothing to tell. What's so interesting about me? We already asked about the ragtag group, about that scar on Irabeth's face. Anevia's eyes flash with wicked fire for a moment, and she looks away. Beth says you did the right thing by cutting her. She says she deserved it and it did her good. So you know, maybe I should just keep my opinions to myself for once about what you did and how it makes me look at you. The girl purses her lips. Sometimes Beth is as stubborn as a mule. We could have paid a healer to get rid of her scar, but she refused. She says it reminds her of her disgrace and keeps her from doing anything like that in the future. She's daft like that. Thank you for your answers. Thanks for asking. Telling you all this kind of makes me feel better. I have to go. All right, you watch yourself now. Whew. Obviously, you don't get any of that dialogue if you went with another Mythic Path. Really, really cool, unique stuff. And the dreaded Crusade Management. I will continue with this as long as I can. I don't know if I can recruit soldiers. Obviously, if I can, we're going to have to go to Auto Crusade. But for as long as I can let you all see how this system works, I will do so. In our midst, spies of the Abyss have attempted to... Yes, I know how to do this. Spies of the Abyss have attempted to infiltrate Dresden and find out the commander's plans. It was only by chance that they were stopped. The officers have suggested an increase in security in anticipation of new attempts by the demons. So, I have no idea what this lich option is. Collective responsibility seems to have people mistrusting each other. I don't particularly like the way that works. So I like select trustworthy soldiers who will keep an eye on their comrades. It has a choice effects option here, but it doesn't allow you right now to see what it does. Start event. Sela will personally talk to the best among the Crusaders and select the most loyal and pure of heart to look for spies. These warriors will also serve as a model for common soldiers to follow. A large group, an army of thieves. A large group of suspicious individuals has arrived at the gates of Dresden. They wish to join the crusade. Officers have recognized a number of thieves and murderers among their ranks, and it seems that the newcomers are only interested in spoils of war. Should they be accepted? Oh, well, this is something interesting to keep in mind. So next time, we should just go ahead and pick up Greybor and Areelu before we even go into this menu, because they kick it right off with options that require her. But in this particular case, it doesn't matter because I would have chosen this anyway, except them. The group joined the Crusader ranks, and they have performed their tasks with diligence. The new soldiers may care more about their profit than the war, but they do as they are told. All right, so now you got into actual regular tasks. So those are basically the equivalent of problems in the sense that you had to choose something right then, right there. These are now more so the regular tasks that you can choose when it is you want to deal with them. For right now, we're not going to do these because right out the bat, you have the option to rank up. And to me, it just makes sense to start with that. It's also kind of annoying to me the way it forces all these to come up. We're definitely gonna do that at some point. All right. Oh, now it does not give you the option to rank up immediately. Oh, that's interesting. All right. Well, I guess we'll start with... And it doesn't tell you how long it takes anymore either, it seems. That's interesting as well. It used to. All right. Well, we'll start with this. Orders to Irabeth. Irabeth's breakdown, which occurred before the assault on Dresden, still haunts her mind. She should be reminded that she was, is, and will always be a hero in the eyes of the soldiers by appointing her as a commander of a small squad of Crusaders. Unfortunately, because Irabeth is occupied as squad leader, her duties in the Crusade's command had to be transferred to someone else. Oh, it takes a week to do this, okay? Scouts cannot work out how the demon army picks its way through advanced units to be able to suddenly attack the Crusader forces. Recently, another suspicious incident took place. Some scouts did not return from their mission to explore the territory to the south of Dresden. More thorough reconnaissance of the region is needed. Probably, the source of the demon apparition is in there somewhere. There we go. Decrease. All right, so before, actually, let's check this. So you can still enter buildings the way you could in Kingmaker, and looks like long term you'll be able to build, but I have no options to build right now. Actually, let me check Dresden real quick just to be sure. Enter here. Is it the same deal? All right, so yeah, Dresden gives you this wide open area, so you see where you would build. Nothing is built yet. If I click on build, nothing. Click on view, nothing. Shows what you have to spend up here, but looks like none of this is actually ready. So it's kind of interesting. Looks like they're not going to let you use it until full release. So we can't build anything, which is the method that you use to significantly accelerate the rate at which you can recruit more soldiers into the army. All right. So the way the game works, you're going to pick up certain relics and things while you're playing the game. I think this was kind of in Kingmaker as well. And then for some of them, you'll be able to choose what is done with that item to be able to give you a new item that your party is going to be able to use. So we have Soul Shear, and you can either cleanse Soul Shear to get a +3 adamantine glaive that gives you 2 additional daily uses of lay on hands, fervor, and channel energy. Anytime I'm running with Soseo, I definitely go ahead and get this for him. Or you can get a +3 glaive that allows your mount to get a +3 bonus on all saving throws and a +3 bonus to CMD. If you have Sela specialized in using glaives and you're using her in mounted combat, which she is able to do, this is a great option for her as well. But in both cases, I would sell it, so it doesn't matter to me. I'll go ahead and do that. And then there's still... yeah, there's one advisor that I'm not able to use because I don't have anything for him. So, oh well. And since we're already up here, we might as well just go ahead and take a rest since the bed is here. Plus, there's some mythic paths that start in the bedroom, so I'm curious if Demon is one of them. I doubt it, though.
This way.
Let's see. Nope. It's not one of them. Oh, well. All right. So you got your personal chest, and you got the bed. Do they truly drink tea made from rose petals in the temples of Shelyn? I should like to try it one day. Where I'm from, we use rose petals to make jam. I received a jar from the temple only recently. I would happily share it with you. Boom. All right. That's done. Now we head outside. We're going to start all the way on the other side first. Let's go to the tavern. Actually, I forgot. Here. We want a key. Nope, we don't need this dagger. There's nothing here we need to keep, right? Ring of protection. Does everybody that I use already have a ring of protection? Nope. We'll take that. +2 physical form, dexterity and constitution. You can make use of that, right? Sure. He already has a belt of dexterity. She's got a belt of constitution. That makes sense. And you got strength of constitution. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. We don't need +2 wisdom. There's nobody who needs that. Lower your perception checks. I mean, I guess this makes sense for her. She's not... oh, wait, no. Everybody else already has, except you, and you level up perception, so this doesn't work for you. So, nope, we're going to leave that on the back burner. What's this? Lesser braces of archery. Ooh, I forgot. This is... I think it was in the chest that was under the fake sword of valor. I forgot to show this to you all. But yeah, it gives her a +1 competence bonus on attack rolls. Definitely going to go ahead and put this on Windowog. Oh yeah, we don't need that anymore. You don't have braces, so we might as well give this to you. Forgot about this. Like lucky dice. +1 luck bonus on attack or damage roll. Sure, why not? What's this do again? I'm not sure if you actually use that. The book you found reveals only parts of his secrets, or at least at this moment. Interesting. Full plate armor, carapace. We don't have anybody who uses that. Do we have any shirts? We do have a shirt. +1. Oh, yeah, I dropped this. +1 bonus on all saving throws. But I know who's going to use that, and we don't have it back yet. Okay. All right. We have everything we're supposed to be able to sell. Let's go ahead and talk with him. The boy sitting on the counter looks about 18. He salutes you with dignity, though his eyes scarcely rise from the tavern's ledger. The Knight Commander at my establishment. What an honor. My name is Faikido. I'm the owner of the Half Measure. How should I address you? I ask because some don't like undue familiarity, while others scoff at the tediousness of ceremony and titles. You can call me the Armored Armadillo for all I care. Your commanderness, are you sure? I'm going to remember that, you know. Fi smiles mischievously. I'm absolutely sure. Out of respect for the whims of the hero of Dresden, the Armadillo it is. So, what can I do for you? Wine? A meal? A heart-to-heart talk? How is it that such a young lad owns a tavern? Before the siege of Dresden, the half-measure belonged to a distant relative. I won't bore you with the details of how his family died, just 3 words. Demon worshippers and sacrifice. Should be enough. Now that the city has been liberated, the authorities in Iomede's church will be returning what remains to the lawful heirs of the deceased. They take these things seriously in Mendev. Fi suddenly slaps himself on the forehead. We started talking about the inn, and I remembered. I wanted to thank you personally for defeating the demon in this very tavern when the city was liberated. Without you, who knows how many glasses he would have smashed before the Crusaders got to him. So please accept my thanks from the bottom of my heart. The Half Measure is a strange name for a tavern. Oh, that's a family story. It's not for the faint-hearted, but you're not one of those, are you? One day, before the ward stones were erected, a peasant family got lost on the way up to the fair and ended up near the borders of the Worldwound. They stumbled upon a bored demon who killed the father right away. He then asked the mother if she preferred him to take all her children or only half of them. The sobbing woman looked at her 3 darlings and said, half. The demon promptly cut the arms and legs off all the 3 children and said, I guess that's even, and disappeared. People across Dresden heard this story after the family found shelter at the local temple of Iamade. For many years, they saved up for a regeneration spell so the children could be made whole again. They eventually scraped together enough for just 1 scroll and decided to give the youngest child a second chance at life. He soon became the tavern's first owner, and he called it the Half Measure in memory of his family and the terrible incident with the demons. He had a good life for a time. He got married and always planned to help his brother and sister, though he never got a proper chance. When the demons had Dresden surrounded, the poor cripples tried to run for their lives, but they died on the spot. The brother and his wife died a little later at the hands of deserters. There were rumors that the same demon that butchered the family came to Dresden and made a den of the Half Measure. If that's true, I guess he got what he deserved when you freed the city. That's the story. Fi shrugs pensively. Yeah, you definitely want to go ahead and kill that demon in this tavern. That story. That story always gets me. Why do you like sitting on the counter? 2 reasons, Fi says seriously. Dresden isn't the basic city, but it still has a few taverns and pubs. To compete with the others, I need people to remember my establishment, and myself. That's the first reason. A tavern keeper who sits on the counter definitely sticks out from the others who prefer to stand behind their bars, all dignified. Believe me, you're not the first one to ask. Sooner or later, every customer does. The second reason is the place atmosphere. People should feel relaxed here. Life near the Worldwound is hard enough. Folks don't go to taverns looking to cause each other more trouble. So I allow certain liberties, myself included. I'm even thinking of hosting an invigorating brawl here on the 5th of every month. I let my favorite customers break glasses and swing on the chandelier. What's the feeling here in the city? I can only tell you about my customers. They're mostly working folk, the ones who are rebuilding what's being destroyed, along with soldiers and some merchants. Overall, spirits are high as they can be in Mendev, nation of rattling sabers and fluttering banners. Everyone loves it when the demons get their horns, tails, and other parts handed to them. They've already forgotten that we nearly lost Canabras. War is like that. People live for one day, and that day is tomorrow, not yesterday. You've been a source of joy and inspiration for everyone as well. A simple lad leading the fight against the demons and defeating them and running rings around all the arrogant queen's knights. People like stories like that. This calls for a toast, doesn't it? Indeed. Drinks on the house. What do your customers say about my new powers? 5 frowns. This is a tavern. People often drink and speak too freely here. Sometimes they make rude remarks about you. Let's just say that your piety and devotion to the Crusader cause are sometimes called into question. Oh, but not everyone thinks that of you. On the contrary, some of my customers speak of you with deep affection. Usually, these are large men or women with rough hands and cruel faces. I'll give you 3 guesses who they are and what they do for a living. They like you, that's all. They're not really interested in gods and the ideals of crusaders are of little interest to them, but it was only under your command that they started to beat the demons, and that earned their respect. I won't say they're the most agreeable customers. If they cause trouble in a tavern, there will definitely be some damage, but they bore the brunt of the demon hordes, so it's understandable if they lash out sometimes. I see nothing wrong with you being an inspiration to them. Let's see what you have on offer. Okay. So there are several vendors here with different merchandise for you to take advantage of. What do these goggles do again? Plus 10 competence bonus on perception checks whenever the wearer confirms a critical hit with any bow. The target becomes disoriented for 1d4 rounds, suffering a -4 penalty to initiative, attack rolls, athletic, and perception checks. Obviously, one dual can make use of that. And we'll take mulled wine since we probably will cook sooner or later. And that's it. So we'll bulk sell all this stuff. We'll keep the dagger for Woljev. We'll find him sooner or later. We'll sell all the rest of this stuff. Don't need it. And yep, we're good. Oh, wait. Are these somewhere around here? Paper shreds. Severed heads. Decapitated head, the severing on the neck is unnaturally clean and likely was performed using magic. You have no idea how these terrifying remains ended up among your belongings. I know, I do. Okay. And deal. And we will go ahead and stick these on window hook. I don't know why it's saying it conflicts, but we're not going to worry about that. Moving right along. That up. Only regular citizens here, no one to talk to. That up. All ingredients. Excellent. Okay. And now let's pick up our assassin.
How can I help you?
Who are you?
Don't you remember our last meeting? The name is Greybor. I'm an assassin for hire. But I suspect you're not here for small talk. Are you in need of my services?
We already met in Canabras, didn't we?
Yes, I had a contract to assassinate a rather overconfident demon named Kylus there. I guess that counts as participation in the siege of Canabras. Not that my employer had any interest in the actual outcome of the battle. Come to think of it, the information my client provided me with was almost suspiciously accurate. They seemed to be aware both of the impending attack on Canabras and of the fact that Kylus was going to be there.
You tried to kill that huge demon at the Battle of Dresden, but you failed. What happened?
Yes, that was a failure. It was supposed to be a clean job. An anonymous client, a worthy target, a substantial fee. But the client insisted that I use an enchanted dagger they provided. I was assured that a single hit would be enough to finish the job, but it didn't work as expected. It was a serious blow to my reputation. And my reputation is everything to me.
I want to hire you for a dragon hunt.
A large adult female? The one that's been snatching people and carrying them off? I've heard about her. That's an impressive target. I can take this job, but only if we do it soon. I'm expecting a new assignment from my regular client, and I'll have to leave as soon as I have the orders. And of course, you should know that this dragon will not come cheaply. 2,500 gold, paid in advance.
You could try to quibble about it, but you won't get anything out of it, and he will lose some respect for you. So, give him 2,500 gold coins, I'll pay.
Excellent. Let's get down to business. It's no easy thing to take down a dragon when you don't have wings, so you'll need to follow my lead. The best thing would be to catch her by surprise in her lair, but we need to find it first. Of course, since she doesn't leave tracks, that might be tricky, but I think I have a solution. We need to go west of Dresden, to the Grimwood Forest. The dragon's been seen there often. According to the scouts, this is likely because there's still some wild game left in those parts. We'll set up an ambush there. I hope I can rely on your honesty. I understand that on our way to the dragon, there may be other fights or places we need to visit for various reasons. That's to be expected. However, should I see that you are deliberately delaying the contract, or that you're dragging me off to assault some demon citadel instead of going after the dragon, we will have to revise the terms of our agreement.
So I don't know how serious that is, but my general rule is I just head for the dragon ASAP. It's expected that you're strong enough to face the dragon after you come out of Dresden. So it's not a situation where this dragon is like crazy more powerful than you, and you're gonna have to wait before you can go up against it. But mind you, that dragon is no joke. A short, chubby tiefling with a golden eye patch spits chewing tobacco between his feet and takes another pinch from a tobacco box adorned with jewels. A fine day to you, Commander. Welcome to the One-Eyed Devil's Trading House. His proud manner suggests that each word begins with a capital letter, and perhaps even continues in capital letters as well. A trading house. It's just a shop. Ah, that depends. There was a time when I had nothing in my pockets but holes. But did I consider myself poor? No. I consider myself a rich man who was temporarily down on his luck. Optimism is important, not only on the battlefield, Commander. You are the leader of a victorious army that will be chopping all the demons into mincemeat sooner or later. I am the owner of a trade empire, which, as you see, is only starting to grow. How did the tiefling end up on the side of the Crusaders? Look who's talking. Admit it, you're just tired of answering that same stupid question, so you found another tiefling to bother with it. The answer is simple, the simplest thing there is. This is a good world, and I like living in it. Besides, it's the only one we've got. I'd love to know what's going on in the heads of the dimwits who are helping the demons destroy it. My best guess is that their horns grow inward, so there's no room for brains. I'm from Cheliax. Tieflings don't surprise anyone there, and they don't like demons any more than we do here. And why should they? The gods went to all the trouble of creating this world. Even Lord Asmodeus and his devils helped with the construction. And now these freeloaders show up after all the hard work is done just to gorge and break things. It doesn't matter who you pray to. If you want to live, it's your duty to help. Isn't that a risky name for a store for Crusaders? Ah, yes. A week doesn't go by without some dimwit boiling over. Well, they don't pay me to explain the difference between allies and enemies, devils and demons, Lord Asmodeus and all the riffraff like Baphomet and Deskari, so they can go hang. The tiefling spits between his feet and swiftly places another pinch of chewing tobacco in his mouth. Here's what I think. You like it, you buy it. You don't like it, keep moving. If you spoil it for a fright, take yourself off to the tavern. Asmodeus is great. It's so good to meet someone here who shares my faith. I've grown wary of the long faces of those self-righteous paladins. The kingdom shall be his. I didn't realize you were one of us. Well, if so, there's no need to worry about the future of this crusade. The army is in good hands. Why are your prices so high? We're saving the world from demons, and that includes you. That's some claim. Did you hear that, good people? First of all, my prices are perfectly fair. They're no higher than you'll find anywhere else. Second, who's saving who here? Are you prepared to eat bark and fight with rocks and sticks? You know, I have open contracts with dozens of suppliers. I arrange deliveries and do whatever it takes to get you sharper weapons, better magical items, better food. And you're throwing the extra expense in my face? This is the thanks I get for honest work. What happened to your eye? Should I make up a story about a heroic fight with a horde of demons? Truth be told, this is how it happened. Back when I was a snot-nosed kid, I had just opened my first business selling pies on the street. The local lads quickly took notice of me and offered me protection in return for a small share of profits. The usual, you know. But I was so young, inexperienced, and greedy that I told them to bugger off. Well, they caught me and taught me a lesson. They took it too far, though. I paid for the lesson with my eye, not just bumps and bruises. It's funny to remember it now, but back then while it was happening, I was so scared. I thought they beat me to death. I remember I came running home in tears and my mom just started screaming. I didn't have a clue why, and then I looked in the mirror and saw there were just shreds and mush where one of my eyes should be. I've remembered that lesson all my life. Ever since that day, when I start a business, I find some reliable business partners first. If I'd been born in a merchant family, my parents would have warned me about this and about plenty of other things too. But I was a poor lad, so I had to learn everything the hard way. It's a miracle how many times I escaped death by a hair's breadth. In fact, it's lucky all I lost was one eye. I can't afford a new eye now, of course, but you know, I just can't find the time. It will cost a tidy sum, and I don't want to take it out of the tavern's earnings. And besides, being the one-eyed devil is a big selling point for me. I'd be a fool to get my eye back only to have to keep it hidden under a patch. Have you heard about my new powers? What do you make of them? Of course, who hasn't heard about our terrifying demonic commander? The stories the veterans tell, they're scary enough to knock anyone dead. Wherever you stand, the bodies of hundreds of enemies you defeated single-handedly lie at your feet. You strike enemies down with your fiery gaze, with 6 ghostly horns burning on your head. And that's not to mention the 3-inch fangs, the 4 hands with claws of iron, the demon skull helmet, the locust cloak, and the evil gaze of an out-and-out villain. When newcomers hear these tales, the blood drains from their faces and they can't get out of the city fast enough. I can only imagine how the tales will have changed and grown by the time they get back to where they came from. Who knows? Maybe all our neighbors are already convinced that you beheaded all the demon lords, conquered the abyss, and are now planning to conquer all of Golarion. Every story is more unbelievable than the last, but, of course, I enjoy them all immensely. They're quite entertaining. I, of all people, should know that it's our actions that define us, not our origins or the source of our powers. The Worldwound brought thousands of unfortunate souls to Golarion, and their only sin was a blood tied to the abyss. They had no part in this terrible war. Are they evil? Not a chance. I don't give a damn what evil and what sins were used to forge your sword, as long as you use it to cut down demons and lead us to the Worldwound. Show me your wares. All right. And I think, Ember, can you make use of that? +4 charisma. You got anybody using armor? Not really. We already got a +2 holy rapier. And we have enough lockpicks. So, nothing else we need from him. So, as far as Greybor, you've paid him. Awesome. So even though it says 0, it will actually use the lockpicking skill of your companion. So if you have a companion who's skilled in lockpicking, it'll open for him. Which, to me, always makes way more sense. Like, it's my hub. Of course, I'm going to have a companion do this for me. I'm not going to just say, oh, well, I don't have lockpicking myself, so I guess I can't loot this. Anyway, you've paid Greybor for defeating the demon, but he's not a regular party member yet. So you want to make sure you have at least $25,000 in your account at the time that you defeat the dragon. Just as a FYI. All right, perception 23. Succeeded. One old Keller told me they have this whole story that they go through, and it seems to be kind of about one of the places you go up to, but it doesn't really pan out to anything as far as I can tell. All right. Hilor. Congratulations on taking Dresden, Commander. It's a great victory, though you pay for it with much blood. Its smell still hangs in the air. I remember the smell well. The last time the air reeked like this was the most horrible day of my life. That day I nearly caught the Spinner of Nightmares. Tell me about how you almost caught the Spinner of Nightmares. Hilor's gaze grows heavy. It was 6 months ago. We got a lead where to look for her. A lonely inn along the road. We arrived disguised as travelers. I never took off the Eye of Truth for a moment. Hilor carefully takes out and wipes his magic monocle. We quickly identified our cronies, but the Spinner of Nightmares was nowhere to be found. I lost hope and gave the orders to arrest the cultists. We managed it quickly and without any losses. Spinner of Nightmares appeared on a stage where passing bards were performing. She sang a funny little children's song, and the guests of the inn went mad. Their eyes turned bloodshot and they attacked us in a rage. They grabbed whatever came to hand and tried to kill us. Stools, forks, their bare hands, and even their teeth. We were forced to defend ourselves. When it was over, we were covered in blood. 31 butchered corpses lay at our feet. They wouldn't stop fighting, even after their guts were dragging along the floor. The air reeked of blood, guts, and shite. I was barely able to clamber out. My legs refused to walk across that slimy muck. Once I made it outside, there was only the night and the steppe, and her laughter, the delighted, mocking laughter of a child who pulled off a prank. It arched from horizon to horizon. As it echoed in my mind, I lost consciousness and fell to the ground. Hilor's story ends with a helpless sigh. The Pathfinder massages his eyes with his fingers, as if trying to push away the horrific images he envisions. Tell me about your confrontation with the Spinner of Nightmares. It's a long story. Telling you everything would take 2 days. Which part do you want to know? We already went through this, if I remember correctly. Yeah? I can't imagine I missed talking to him. All right, we'll talk again later. Just on the off chance that I forgot to talk to him, basically, the Spinner of Nightmares is someone who he believes has kidnapped his daughter and taken her. And so he's trying to find this demon in order to be able to save his daughter. That's basically what it boils down to. So, the experiment, Nenio gestures excitedly. I will need some supplies for this one. Boy, please bring me a bottle of alcohol. Any will do. And please hurry up. Science can't wait. Why would you need alcohol? I've already told you it's for an experiment. Hurry up and bring it to me. What kind of experiment? This will be an experiment of a personal nature. Nenio seems sheepish, but no less exciting for that. Mark my words. Why don't you go and buy a bottle yourself? I am busy with an extremely important task, mentally preparing myself for the experiment. Besides, a task like this is a perfect fit for my loyal follower. I'll come back when I have a bottle. I will await your return with the greatest anticipation, with immense, immeasurable impatience. All right. I forgot about that. So yeah, don't sell all your alcohol before you talk to her. Do you have alcohol on you? Or do I really have to go back to the inn? Yep, gotta go back to the inn. Okay. Let's see what you have on offer. Okay. She said any alcohol will do. Sweet wine. There we go.
What's in wait for me there, I wonder?
right there. What? Apparently wine does not count. You can tell I am not a drinker. I was like, wine? Alcohol? Clearly this will do. Apparently that's not the case. Let's go for just plain old beer. Herb liqueur. Okay. I assume this is just gonna work. It says liquor in the titles.
This way.
Please don't make me go back. Hey, I brought a bottle of alcohol for you. Nenio snatches the bottle out of your hands and stares at it with the covetousness of a seasoned alcoholic. Here it is. My path to learning the true values of humanity from the perspective of the lowliest man on the street. She produces a corkscrew from her sleeve and looks at it in bafflement, then at the bottle, then at the corkscrew again, after which she hands the bottle back to you. Open it. This experiment definitely won't work if we don't open it. Do you always carry a corkscrew up your sleeve? Don't be preposterous, but I am always meticulous when it comes to preparing for my experiments. I plan for every eventuality. Nenio sighs. All right, I admit it, that's not true, but I have truly prepared for this particular experiment. What is this experiment going to be about? I'm taking a huge risk with this experiment. I'm putting my reputation, my good name, and even my future on the line. With the help of this bottle, I will lower myself to the level of an average man on the street, and I will try to understand the mentality of someone wholly devoid of intelligence. You surely know, maybe even from personal experience, that alcohol dampens mental activity and is a catalyst for stupidity. With a brain like mine, alcohol is the only way to find out how it feels to be an idiot. You're talking as if you've never tried alcohol before. I haven't. I never saw the point of it. So you're asking me to be your drinking buddy? Not at all. I'll do the drinking alone. Your role in this experiment will include standing here and providing me with the visible reaction to my inevitable temporary degradation. Uncork the bottle. Fine, let's get this started. Well, let's begin. With the steely resolve of a warrior going to his last battle, Nenio takes a big gulp straight from the bottle. Yeah, what? Oh, that's disgusting. After she overcomes the urge to vomit, she looks at you with teary eyes. How do you all drink this? I am doing this for the sake of science. Another gulp. Oh, that should be enough. Yuck. Now, am I stupid yet? Quick, ask me about something smart. Lore nature check. What is a Lenorm? Lenorms are a type of dragon that possess a strong connection to the first world. They have no inborn talent for spellcasting, but they can cast curses. By the way, did you know that a sleeping Lenorm is bound to wake if you kick it really hard right in its... It would appear I'm not drunk enough yet. Nenio takes another swig for the bottle. Right. It seems to be working. Now, I need to come up with an idea right now. I usually have a ton of ideas. Let's see now. Deskari and Baphomet. Their anti-Crusader alliance is not effective enough. They need to unite their forces on the physical level. Baphomet needs to mount Deskari and ride him into battle. 2 in 1. Yes, the experiment was successful. I am definitely drunk. She takes another gulp from the bottle to further confirm her condition. So how does it feel to be drunk for the first time in your life from a scientific point of view? Terrific. I have definitely become more stupid. More than that, I am as dumb as a box of rocks, and right now I don't give a rat's ass about science. Wait, I think I've got it. That's how men on the street see science. They don't give a rat's ass about it. Who cares what a linorm is and where it lives, Nenio says with a vague wave of her hand. If it's not wine and you can't drink it, what's the point? I hope you're satisfied now. Incredible. My intellect never stood a chance in this battle with alcohol. And what is most striking, this fact doesn't bother me at all. It feels like all the thoughts in my head just went poof and disappeared. My thirst for knowledge, my desire to prove myself, they're all gone. My mind is so calm, it's actually a little frightening. I simply must describe this condition for my encyclopedia, but I'll get to that later. I just don't feel like it right now. So, you're not going to drink like a fish from now on, are you? What? Of course not. How could you think that about me? Me, the greatest scientist of modern times. Nenio stares at you blearily. Fine. Maybe. A little bit. Sometimes. No more than once a year. And only if no one sees me. I've got a reputation to maintain. Congratulations, I guess. Now what? That's it for now. The experiment was a success. Just a moment. Nenio stares at you with glazed eyes, shakes her head, and exhales loudly. When she meets your gaze again, her eyes are crystal clear. All right, I'm fine now. What was that? What was what? A moment ago, you were drunk as a skunk, and now all of a sudden you're stone cold sober. Is that so? Nenio looks at the bottle in her hand, thoughtfully licks her lips, and nods. It seems that is indeed what happened. Clearly, I decided to forget the incident entirely because I no longer need this information. What I need now is to write an article for the encyclopedia about the influence that alcohol has on an individual's mind. So you can simply forget you were drunk and sober up, just like that? I have simply blocked the deleterious effects of alcohol from my mind. To put it in basic terms, I just forgot I consumed alcohol. The mechanism is similar to the one that I used to get rid of irrelevant memories. It's not overly complicated if you know how to do it. Your abilities are just amazing. What? What were we talking about? All right, happy I can help. On behalf of future generations, I formally thank you for your assistance in this momentous experiment. Now, I have time to answer your questions. Come on, ask away. So, you are a kitsune. Nenio tosses you a skeptical look. Stating the obvious does you no credit. How does it feel to suddenly remember that you belong to another race? It is slightly unusual, no more than that. Knowing this fact will not help me write the encyclopedia, therefore it is useless. Therefore, I was right to forget it. And to forestall your next question, no. For now, I'm not planning to forget that I am a kitsune. My abilities can help you, my loyal follower, in your fight against... Whom are we fighting again? Right, the demons. Nenio gives you a magnanimous look. See how much I appreciate your assistance, boy? I'll stop torturing you with questions for now. What were we talking about? Are you sure you really want to meet the mysterious entity we know nothing about? I am sure. I am convinced. Think about all the knowledge hidden there in the emptiness. It seems to me that this event is certain to be my triumph, the experiment of the century. No, of the millennium. She looks away. Or maybe it will become my downfall, a complete fiasco. Here's the deal. If the mysterious entity decides to gobble me up, run as fast as you can while it's distracted. Tell all of Golarion about the heroic death of its greatest daughter. Tell them she perished, but that she never strayed from the thorny road to knowledge. Nenio sniffs and wipes a tear from her eye. I have to go. All right. Out of here. Out of here.
Wherever my legs carry me.
A dark-eyed young man who looks like a typical Kelid greets you politely. He casts a deferential look at Ciar, his mentor standing next to him. A simple straw figure in the shape of a wolf hangs from the boy's necks. How can I help you, Commander? Who are you? My name is Morveg. My family used to live in Sarkoris. The Worldwound forced us to flee, made us homeless. Most of our clan died of starvation and disease. We've been wandering the river kingdoms, begging, losing people, but we've never forgotten who we were and where we came from. When I heard another crusade had been declared, I came here to fight the demons and claim vengeance for the homeland of my ancestors. Do you dislike me too, like Ciar does? The young boy glances at Ciar for approval, but answers quite resolutely. I dare not argue with Master Ciar, but demons are the worst of all possible evils. I will do anything to defeat them. As long as you fight them, I am on your side, no matter what anyone else says. Ciar interrupts the boy anxiously. Morveg, have you forgotten what I taught you? You don't get any closer to defeating darkness by letting it into your soul. You be surrendering to it, humility and faith in the light. That is what will bring on our triumph. What you're talking about will make us a mob of bloodthirsty killers who can't tell right from wrong, who live only for war and never for peace. What do you think of Ciar? The boy looks at the old man standing next to him with sincere gratitude. He's got a big heart. He picked me up, gave me food and clothes, took me on as an apprentice, although I was no one to him. You know, us vagabonds don't often come across generosity like that. Ciar is kind to me, but my master's nature is too soft. He doesn't understand that it's impossible to keep your soul pure when you fight demons. We Kellids of Sarkoris have learned this bitter truth. We know that any means are justified for fighting demons, but Ciar can't see that we're right. We've paid for the privilege of hindsight with a sea of blood and the loss of our homeland. I have to go. Good luck to you, Commander. Keep fighting until these monsters are defeated. Old Ciar gives you a grim, distrustful look. I'm listening. The Crusader turns to the young lad standing next to him and wags his finger at him with ostentatious strictness. Morveg, keep it to yourself. If you keep interrupting your elders, you'll be mucking out the stables for a week. Don't be stubborn, old man. Serve under my command. Ciar's genial face grows stern and cold. You know, I don't have the look of a warrior. I look like a kind old grandpa who brings sweets for his children. That's why many think I'm soft, that I can be pushed and forced. But I'm a warrior. I've been serving the Order for 35 years, living in austerity for 35 years, fighting the creatures of darkness for 35 years. I chop them into pieces and then try not to scream when the healer stitches my wounds. I have principles. I fight for my convictions. Do you really believe I would betray them on your orders, Commander? I have no faith in words. I have faith in actions. And your actions do not inspire trust. I want to ask a few questions about yourself. About me, Ciar Cobhamlin, or me, the glorious ever-bright crusader and the leader of my order? A young man standing next to Ciar casts a look at his fuzzy gray hair and mumbles, leader of the order, also known as Sir Dandelion. Ooh, Dandelion. Ha ha, that's a nice call out. The old man turns to the lad and reprimands him loudly but kindly. Morveg, you insolent Kellid whelp. Show some respect for your mentor's age, or do you think you'll never grow old yourself? I want to know about your past. The old man scratches his thin and fuzzy hair. About my life before the Order? It was so long ago. As a boy, I decided there was too much evil in the world. Someone had to do something about it, try to fix it. I decided to become a priest. But then I saw the ever-bright Crusaders so proud, so pure. And then someone next to me said, what arrogant snobs. And he was right. We ever-bright Crusaders actually are a little arrogant. So I thought, maybe these invincible snobs could use the help and companionship of such a simple and warm-hearted lad like myself. Who knew that years later I would become their leader? Tell me about your order. The Everbright Crusaders are not the oldest order, but our traditions are solid. For us, fighting the Worldwound is not a war, it's our service. We dedicate our lives to it and also our souls. We have high standards and live under many restrictions. We have no families, drink no liquor, play no games of chance, accumulate no wealth, and own no lands, even if we were entitled to them by birth. We reject everything that distracts us, that draws us to a peaceful life, for our hearts are always turned to war. But war is a grim, ugly thing that makes wicked everyone who takes part in it. And we keep our hearts pure so that we are not left sickened by war, so that our light does not fade, because darkness can only be overcome by light. Who's the lad that keeps following you around? Ciar smiles warmly with deep-seated pride. This is Morveg. He is a Kellid from these parts. When the Worldwound opened, his family was forced to flee. What a life they had. Poor, always hungry, cast aside by the world. When they didn't have any bread, they fed on rage and vengeance. We caught this boy on the road. He was walking north to Dresden to kill demons. Dirty, gaunt. Just looking at him made you want to weep. We picked him up, trained him. He is hot-headed and lacks discipline, but he's also smart and brave. When I look at him, I see the future of the ever-bright Crusaders. Char's eyes grow cold. Don't you try to lead the boy astray. Believe me, there aren't many things in this world that can make me lose my common sense. But if something bad happens to Morveg because of you, you will pay for it. I don't have any more questions. The old man nods. I'm glad I gratified your curiosity. I have to go. Char groans, displeased. Listen to an old man. What you're doing is very wrong. Your powers will do you no good. Do-do-do-do. Anything over here? I don't remember. Nope. Good afternoon, Commander. How can I help you? Tell me about yourself. I'm pretty sure we already did all that stuff. What do you think, your brother's fate? Yeah, we already did all that. None of that is new. Why is the board down here? This is the way to the prison, but there's nobody in the prison. We let Nura go, and we already talked to Arushale, let her go. So there's nothing to do on that point. Amber doesn't have anything new to say. Oh, the body of Staunton Vane, traitor of the Crusades. Oh, that's a weird way to display his body. Yeah, that doesn't even look right. That doesn't look right at all. I'm sure they're working on that. All right. Oh, here's the stage, people. They have anything? All right. Nope. Not yet. Looted that. Make sure there's nothing in the houses. I just want to talk to everybody, clear everything. Oh, crap.
I see blood. Blood!
Wow. All right. Sheesh.
Burn! Slice! Behead! May I see your entrails, please?
Man. Glad I am built for to deal with that.
What's in wait for me there, I wonder?
It's not like it's crazy hard, but that just caught me off guard. Okay, so we actually need to go into all the houses to make sure that we clear out the swarm. Because this is not a swarm playthrough. Much to the dismay of some of you, I'm sure.
Let's shred them!
Excellent.
Let the attack commence!
Excellent. Whoa, 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 whoa. Holy smokes. What is going on here? So you can talk with her. The engorged body of the young queen of the swarm pulses, oozing corrosive slime. In her buzzing, you hear the barely distinguishable echoes of the now familiar swarm song. Her voice is not yet strong enough to harm you, but it is patently clear that if the creature is permitted to grow and her children to multiply, then soon an anthem of abyssal insects will be humming in the skies above Dresden. For a couple of seconds, you stare at the young monster, unable to take your eyes off her. Disgusting, but also beautiful in its own way. Hostile, but weirdly close to you. Nauseating, and yet mouth-watering? What a strange thought. Examine the queen. This creature is very young and, for now, utterly defenseless. Her weak chittering causes not madness, but only vague unease. The eggs in the clutch can be counted on 2 hands, and the translucent chitting covering her body is so delicate that it could be crushed under your boot. But who knows how quickly she will grow, and how much time she will need to repeat in Dresden the nightmare that befell you during the attack. Kill the queen. The chitin breaks with a crunching sound. The quiet buzzing turns into a rasping croak. Under your blows, the flesh of the young queen turns to acidic mush. Now the swarm really has come to an end. Whatever may lie ahead, you are certain that you will never hear its sanity-stealing chittering in the skies above Dresden. Cray cray. That's so freaking cool. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay. Y'all know I'm going to come right back, do a playthrough on this one, but as Swarm. That is awesome. I'm pretty sure that I actually did have a playthrough where I used a Swarm before, but it just didn't show up with, it didn't cause that line of quests to happen. I know it says the swarm will not happen, but I'm just want to check through this house real quick just for kicks, just to be absolutely sure that I don't end up screwing my playthrough up somehow.
Wherever my legs carry me.
Awesome. That's done. All right. Wait. That's the way out. And here, window
Backwards.
Swear loyalty to me. Window greet you with a servile bow. Master, how can I serve you? What do you think of your new powers? We already read that before. Am I imagining things, or do you find me attractive? Windowalk smiles playfully in return. Maybe I do. I like people like you. People who are strong, determined, who don't hide behind others. I like you too. Then why am I here, not in your bed already? Windowalk smirks and snaps her teeth playfully, showing off her sharp fangs. If you want me, I'm not opposed to the idea. I've long been wondering if you are as good in bed as you are in battle. That's it for now. The huntress gazes at you with devotion. Right, thank you for talking to me, master. So, here's something that's interesting. You get to this point where you all are clearly in a relationship, right? So you have these dialogue options like everything that happened to us is in the past. So it seems like you can flirt with all the companions who you could potentially have a relationship with and get the relationship to a certain point, but you can't have these full relationships with all of them, at least not in the past. Maybe they changed that, but getting to that point where you're actually kind of official with a person, you can only have it with one person in the game. Now, that's why I wanted to talk to Windowell before I talk to any of the other romanceable companions, because Windowell definitely is my true road dog. She's my ride or die. But I'm actually hoping in the full game it's going to be more like, what am I thinking of? Was it not Dragon Age? There's some game that escapes me right now where you could have multiple relationships and it didn't. Oh, Fallout 4. You know, you could have multiple relationships with different companions and it didn't matter at all. You know, so with some companions that makes sense, with other companions it probably doesn't. We'll see what they do in the full game. All right. Want to have some fun? Just you and me? Growling softly, Windowall breaks into a smug smile. You didn't have to ask. Windowall stretches her muscles with grace and a kind of animal shamelessness, directing a contented glance at you from under half-closed lids. That was good. I wasn't wrong about you. Like a satisfied cat, the huntress smiles softly and runs her fingers along her body, over the places your hands touched only moments before. Her little claws carefully scratch her firm, scar-covered skin. Did you like it? A long, delighted groan escapes Windowog's lips. Yes, I did. I enjoyed it very much. Examine Windowog's scars. Among the variety of battle scars, a rather gruesome, ragged scar on her left collarbone catches your eye. It's an uneven line that goes along her shoulder, skirting it and ending at the shoulder blade. Several long scars stretching across Windowog's back suggest she has been whipped. You see fresh crimson cuts and abrasions on her elbows and chin. Some of them look quite deep and were hastily pulled together with crude stitches. Over time, they will turn white and become the newest addition to the landscape of scars on the fighter's lithe body. Tell me about your scars. A splattered smile graces her lips. Oh, I've got plenty of those. Which one do you want me to tell you about? This horrible scar on your collarbone, where did you get that? Pride flares in the huntress's eyes. I got this one off a dire rat. It was a good hunt, and after, the tribe named me the best hunter. Tell me about the encounter. It was one tough dire rat, as big as horses are up here on the surface. It was old, cunning, and vicious. We'd never met the likes of it before. Another neither and I ran into it when we were scouting some distant caves. The rat snatched the guy first and dragged him into its burrow, and I rushed after them. I cornered it in a cramped little cave, and I yelled and singed its whispers with my torch. I got it nicely riled up and short. It jumped at me, jaw snapping, and the next thing I see is my whole arm disappearing into its maw. My spear got smashed to pieces, and the chunk of wood that I was holding in my hand got stuck inside its throat. The beast was wheezing, writhing, hopping around me on its hind legs, trying to bite my arm off, but I just held the wood of my spear tighter while I groped for the knife on my belt. And as soon as I did, I sank the blade deep into that old rat's crotch. He squealed like you wouldn't believe. All the young rats in the caves were mourning the loss of those gray family jewels that night. With her eyes half closed, Windowalk savors the pleasant memories. It was dying for half a gong, tried to get on its feet again 6 times, the long-toothed beast, but I just knocked it back down on the rocks till it finally kicked the bucket. And only then could I get my arm out of its maw. No one in the tribe had ever done anything like that before. No one. And you weren't afraid to go after the monster to save your friend? Ha, no. He never stood a chance. I saw the rat chew right through his spine. But he did have a nice axe and a decent bow on him when he died, and the tribe couldn't afford to lose good weapons. You need weapons to hunt for food. So I didn't go after the rat to save a friend. I went to go get the axe and bow back. And that's what I did. This scar just adds to your appeal. I know. It works like a charm on warriors. As soon as they see it, they go soft as putty, because they understand who they are dealing with. These marks on your back, are they from a whip? Were you punished? Punished? You could say that, yes. I was a very naughty girl, and I was punished for it. But I've also left my fair share of scars on others. You like it rough? Her lids lower, and she releases a sensuous hiss. Yes. Power excites me, and feeling my own defenselessness just adds an extra thrill. My back burning from the bite of a whip, a firm hand resting on the back of my neck, my partner's voice hard as steel. Is there anything more sweet and tempting in this world? Only me, standing behind my lover, with my hands wrapped around their neck, squeezing. Biting her lip, Windowalk sends you long looks filled with shameless promise. Have you had many lovers before me? A girl like me can always find a willing partner anytime she wants to have sex, and I really don't want it. In the caves, I usually chose land. Sometimes there were strong hunters from other tribes who I found attractive. And, of course, Oscilla. Could she resist dragging me into her bed? Of course she couldn't. So, you were Oscilla's lover? I had no choice. She had her eyes on me from the start, and if I said no, she would have gotten rid of me. The things we do for survival, right? So I had to swallow everything she had for me. Her knife play, her whip, her habit of choking me real good before getting down to the main event. Rolling her shoulders languidly, Windowalk doesn't even try to hide the lust in her voice. It was so horrible. You have some interesting proclivities. Everyone has a right to some fun every now and then. Windowalk's eyes roll back dreamily. Where did you get these fresh scars? In battle? That's nothing. I had to fight with a few crusaders, 5 of them to be precise, but I think I got the one on my chin before that. Now that was a good, honest fight, one-on-one. Why do you pick fights with the crusaders? Windowalk brushes a lock hair away with a nonchalant gesture. To make them respect me, of course. There's no better way to gain recognition than knocking out the biggest local bully. Besides, some Outlanders still don't know that they should tread lightly and keep their thoughts to themselves around the proud folk of Nethone. So sometimes I have to put those loud mouths into their place. And well, fighting is fun. With a pleased laugh, Windowalk admires her bruised knuckles. Don't give them an inch. No chance of that. Anyone who dares to disrespect me will be spitting their pride out along with their teeth. My curiosity has been satisfied. Windowalk looks at you with interest. You've got a lot of interesting scars yourself. One day you'll tell me about them. So, will this change anything between us? No. Why should it? We just had some fun and made each other feel good. Why should it change anything? Or are you worried I'll be throwing myself at you every chance I get and demanding you breed with me? You can relax. That's not going to happen. Do I want to thank her for tonight? That doesn't seem like a demon-y thing to do. Yeah, we'll just go skip to 4. We've enjoyed ourselves, but now it's time to get back to work. Flashing her fangs, Windowalk shakes off her sweet languor. Right. It's time to go and kill someone. All right. So, started on a Windowalk romance. Excellent. And now, so, We were up that way. We did all this area. Windowalk was down here. We cleared out that lower level here. So now we just got to go to the temple and the little fighting grounds next to it. Oh, and then of course, the streets area that's over here. This place has been sanctified. It can protect the area around it from the corruption of the abyss.
Trail me.
Ooh, I don't remember this music before. This is that's new. Okay, so it's only when you're in the general area that your party members' lockpicking skill count.
What's in wait for me
That's
there,
interesting.
I wonder? This way.
Okay, that's a
Wherever
temple.
my legs carry me.
Wherever my legs carry me. Rarely does the night-day cycle actually affect what you can do. Like all the stores are still open and all that kind of stuff. There are a couple of, in fact, no, there's only one quest I've ran into that has to be done during a certain time of day. And it's been broken the entire beta, so I don't think we'll be able to do it here, but we'll see. And same deal. A woman in gold embroidered cleric's robes greets you with a polite bow. Her eyes, the color of molten gold, gleam brightly in her dusky face. Greetings, Commander. My name is Arsenal. I am a messenger from the Temple of Abadar in Absalom, and I came here assuming the defenders of the fortress could use the services of a cleric. Perhaps you've heard about the wound that sometimes opens in my chest. Are you familiar with this kind of ailment? Arsenal quickly probes you with the skill of an experienced healer. So the wound was right here, and then it disappeared and reappeared. Amazing. No, this is the first time I've ever heard of such magic. What do you think it might be? I think it's some kind of demonic corruption, or particles of chaos from the abyss have entered through the wound into your body and made it so unstable. It sounds quite interesting, incidentally. Judging from the records of researchers of the abyss, stranger things have happened in this cursed place. Can you give me some advice on how to heal it? I am sure that you have already used the purification and chaos warding spells. And for obvious reasons, you do not have the option of leaving the campaign and going on a long pilgrimage to various shrines. Since that's the case, keep a diary. Make careful and systematic entries about your well-being. If it gets worse, record the circumstances under which it happens. I'm afraid this is the only advice I can offer right now. I want you to try to heal me. I'm sorry, but I do not have the right to do that. A healer who makes a blind attempt to heal a patient who is not on the verge of death is an irresponsible fool. You do not seem to be dying, so we will not take any unnecessary risk. Thank you. It all makes sense to me now. Take care of yourself, Commander. What services do you provide? I'll sell you various divine spell scrolls. Even if you don't have anyone in your party who can read them, I'll be happy to read it for you right here. However, take care out there on your travels. A scroll is useless without someone who can read it. To use a scroll while you're on the move, you'll need a spellcaster whose magical training covers such spells, or someone skilled in magical devices. Tell me more about Abadar. I'd be delighted to. Abadar is the patron deity of law, trade, and the prosperity of cities. He teaches that law and order allow civilization to develop and keep people safe and wealthy. Iyamade and Abadar are allies, since Iyamade also holds order and nobility above all else. It's hardly surprising to see so many mighty fortresses and wonderful cities in Mendev bloom under her blessing. How did you end up in Dresden? My story has grown longer and longer over the years, yet, sadly, it never gets any more interesting. I was born and raised in Absalom. Soon I realized that bringing the word of Abadar to places where it's already been heard was too easy a challenge for a cleric like me. I have traveled all across Golarion since then, watching civilization bring enlightenment to the wildest of places. This brings joy to my heart and makes me feel like I serve my God with my deeds and not only with my words. The tiny barony in the stolen lands that had been my home for a long time eventually turned into a strong and prosperous kingdom, and I felt that I had to go somewhere else and bring the blessing of Abadar to someone who really needed it. It would take quite a long time for Dresden to recover and become an unfailing stronghold once again. I would do my very best to help. You're an Asimir, if I'm not mistaken? Oh yes, I'm an Asimir. Hard to miss, isn't it? I look exactly like my great-great-grandmother, but I am the only one among my kin to have Asimir blood manifest so visibly in my appearance. I have to admit that it is a very fortunate coincidence. My Asimir features are rather appealing and make people trust me more easily. This is a good quality to have for a priestess wishing to gather a congregation. I see that you have consecrated the altar of Abadar. So I have, and before you ask me why I did this, when there is a temple of Iomedae in Dresden, I will answer. Even though my God is the ally of the inheritor, some still prefer to pray and trust in Abadar instead of her. After all, my humble altar is no worse at removing the corruption of the abyss than the grandiose altar in the temple of Iomedae. I could use the help of a cleric. That is precisely why I'm here. Okay. What's half the prayer? Yeah, no, that's not going to be useful for me. Because I need the necklace slot to increase the enhancement bonus or the enchantment on my natural attacks. Good Lord, there's a lot of these. All right. Con Man's Ring. +5 competence bonus on all perception and trickery. Actually, no. Windowalk already has a bonus to her competence bonus on her perception, right? Yep, +10 bonus on perception, so she's good on that. Charisma, we could get a cloak of +3. What's pest control? Oh, against all swarm attacks. Cool. Red Salamander. If the wearer of this ring has the ability to cast spells spontaneously, it grants the ability to cast the following spells: Fireball, Control Fireball, Fire Snake, Hellfire Ray, Firestorm, and Fiery Body. To cast the spell, the wearer still needs to have the spell slot of the required level. Now I think about it, that's probably a pretty good ring for Darren. This coin grants the wearer the ability to grant any allied damage resistance 5 for 1 minute, once per day. I'm good on that. You get a +2 on intelligence and immunity to all compulsion effects. No. Scroll of potion. No, don't need that. I don't need more recipes. We will get an alchemist kit, just so we can play around a little bit with crafting stuff while sleeping. All right, but that's all we want from her.
Trail me.
Graveyard. Nothing of note here. Excellent.
What's in wait for me there, I wonder?
Boom. Boom, boom, boom. And this is where Sela resides. Good days and clear skies. What do you say? Where are we off to today? The fate of the League of the Card affected you greatly. So you could say, wait, no, we already did this. Yeah. Thanks for speaking with me. Until next time. See you. All right. All right, going to the barracks. Here's where you can find Elon. He doesn't say anything. What's out here? I don't remember. Okay. There we go. And I think there's an upstairs portion, right? Yep. with that. All right, nothing to see there. Boom, boom. Very large places, you can see. All right. Then all that.
This way.
Now, oh, wait, what was that? Oh, horse. Gotta watch out. Make sure there's no special names of people I need to talk with. All right. One last little section area. And we can finally start heading out. And I think this is a good place to start. I hope all of you enjoyed the video today. If you did, please go ahead and leave me a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.